The Arizona Fall League rosters are out, and the Atlanta Braves made some interesting decisions about who to send to the desert this year, including Nacho Alvarez and Drew Hackenberg. Let's talk about it. Yes, welcome on in to Braves Today, a special bonus edition on Thursday, September 18th. This is your source of news, notes, and updates on your Atlanta Braves. I'm your host, Lindsay Crosby. You can follow me on social media at Crosby Baseball. You can follow the show on X, Braves_today. We have a Facebook page and Instagram as well. And you can find all of my written work, bravestoday.com. That's the Braves Today Substack, as this is both a podcast and a newsletter. Talking about the Arizona Fall League today, the pitchers that Atlanta sent, probably after the break, the position players that they sent, and why some of these choices were really interesting. But first, for those of you who don't know what the Arizona Fall League is. So, Major League Baseball obviously has the 120 minor league teams in the technically 4 full season levels of the minors: Single A, High A, Double A, Triple A. They also have the complex leagues, Florida and Arizona. That is rookie ball. So what it's commonly called. They have the Dominican Summer League down in the Dominican Republic with all the international free agents. Those are all officially Major League Baseball. Minor League Baseball. When you look at a player's baseball reference page and it shows minors, that's what it's referring to, is all of those. But Major League Baseball also, as a company, either owns or has relationships with other leagues that they use for different purposes. So, for instance, the Atlantic League is considered the highest level of independent baseball. It is officially an MLB partner league. It's considered around Double A level, right? And it is the place that they like to do a lot of their test rule changes and some development opportunities for players. So, for instance, if a guy's not drafted and he wants to keep playing, he may get a spot in the Atlantic League, he may get a spot in the Frontier League, the Pioneer League, whatever. These are all MLB partner leagues. The MLB Draft League, it's a summer league that Major League Baseball, again, has a relationship with for players who are, their college seasons have finished, they are draft eligible. They want to play a little bit more and get some more data for teams. Sometimes this is players who struggled in the regular season for their college teams. Sometimes this is players who played at a lower level where they did not have all of the data for MLB teams. The Arizona Fall League is wholly owned by Major League Baseball, but it is not considered one of the minor leagues. It's a separate kind of thing. And with the way that this works is it's for 6 weeks. It uses different spring training complexes across Arizona. Every one of the teams in the Arizona Fall League, and there's 6 teams, they all get prospects from 5 different organizations. And it's not like a geographic thing. It's not a division thing. It's kind of random. It rotates around. So the Braves in 2023 were affiliated with Salt River. In 2024, it was Peoria. This year, it's Glendale. So the Glendale Desert Dogs. Braves prospects are going there along with the St. Louis Cardinals prospects, Dodgers prospects, White Sox prospects, and Blue Jays prospects. And every team uses the Arizona Fall League as something different. Some organizations use it as a finishing league, meaning they have a prospect that they think is ready to compete for a major league spot in spring training next year. They'll let them play a full season in the minors this year, and then they'll send them to the Arizona Fall League as a finishing school. That's the most common usage of the AFL, but not everybody does that. What Atlanta likes to do is get guys who are behind on innings, behind on at-bats, whatever it might be, to get them another opportunity to catch back up. And that's kind of Atlanta's usage here, but the names are still really surprising, okay? Let's start with the bats, because the biggest thing here is Nacho Alvarez. Nacho Alvarez, who is no longer a prospect, he has graduated from prospect eligibility, has been playing third base in Atlanta now for, he has 50 games at third base this year. He is going to the Arizona Fall League. And the reason for this, we found out that he's going to play predominantly third base. This is a really interesting decision for me. It's clear they want him to catch up on missed at-bats, but I still think this is a missed opportunity for Atlanta to give him some run at second base to see how he can handle second base. We know defensively he's good at third. We've seen that. He's had a couple interesting mistakes in the last couple weeks, but for the most part, we know defensively he's good at third base. The little bit of time he's gotten at second, which is not a lot. He played 7 games at second last year, replacing Ozzie, 61 and 2/3 innings. And the only reason he played was as soon as Whit Merrifield signed, he took a bad hop off the finger and had to get stitches. So he couldn't play the field for a week or something. And then in Gwinnett this year, when he came back, when he first went down after replacing Riley the first time, he played 7 games at second base before he was called back up to replace Riley again. But rather than giving him more run at second to see if he can handle second base and if that's a future position for him, and you have to remember, Brian Snitker said he thought that Nacho Alvarez's highest usage or best or future role in the majors was going to be a utility guy. They're going to predominantly have him play third. The idea here is they want him to catch up on at-bats. What we have to remember about the 2025 season for Nacho Alvarez is he had a wrist injury in spring training. I think it was against the Nationals in a spring training game. He had to leave the game with the injury. He didn't start a rehab assignment until June. He didn't make it back to Gwinnett until mid-June. And he had, I'm trying to do math here real quick. He had 11 games in Gwinnett before he was called up to replace Riley the first time. He played 8 games to replace Riley, a couple before, the rest after the All-Star break. He went back down for those 7 games, all at second base, and then he came back up in early August, and he's been up since then. So, Nacho Alvarez, from an at-bats perspective, is behind where he should be because he missed a full half season. He has 178 plate appearances in the majors in 2025. When you combine his time in the minors, he got 79 in the minors this year. And so in the upper minors, he has less than 1 full MLB season length. He has less than 1 full MLB season sample of plate appearances. He has 570 combined plate appearances between AA and AAA. And typically in MLB season, you're looking at 600 plate appearances, right? Now, again, he's added 178 at the major league level this year, and he's added 210 over his 2 seasons. But he's not looked great in a lot of these samples. Major league level, after 58 games, he's batting .215 with a .279 on base, a .277 slug, and he does not have a single home run. Unlike Nick Allen, he does have a barrel, but he does not have a home run. Now, it's not like he has a ton. He literally has 1 barrel in his major league career. It came on July 23rd against Justin Verlander. He flew out to center field against the Giants. But he did it. He has a barrel, so he's beating Nick Allen in that regard. So what Atlanta is doing by sending him to the desert, 1, they just want him to catch up on at-bats. As many at-bats as you can give him would be great. 2, they're looking to see if he can figure out both the power and the on-base. So in Gwinnett, and this is not the biggest sample size, right? It's 368 plate appearances. But in Gwinnett, he ran a .399 on base and a .440 slug. It's the highest slug he's put up at any level of the minors in his career. He hit, where is it here? He hit 11 homers in his 2 stints in AAA. So they want to see if he can figure that out. His on base in Gwinnett is .399. just being able to draw a lot of walks. You look at his down the stretch in 24 in AAA, he had 37 walks to 45 strikeouts. In the majors, 10 walks, 43 strikeouts, and like I said, no home runs. So they're just trying to figure out, give him a little more time to see where the offense is that we know that he has. We know that he can do. Again, I still question the decision to not have him play any second base, predominantly just third. Some of that's down to roster construction. Some of that is just what the team requests, right? The team doesn't have complete control over what happens, but they can put in guidelines and usages and requests on how the player is used, and they're almost always followed, right? Some of the other guys going, Jim Jarvis is joining Alvarez with the Desert Dogs. He was an 11th rounder by the Tigers. He was acquired in the Rafael Montero deal. He has played more than 40 games at every non-first base infield position. So he's played short, he's played second, he's played third. He should be at least average defensively. He just doesn't have a lot of power. He has 8 career minor league homers in 246 games, and that is as of the time I wrote this whole thing up. I think it was last week over on Braves Today. At this point, I just checked. He's sitting on 8 home runs and 240. Yeah, he hasn't played any more since I wrote this up. There you go. So that's the second player going. The third player going, outfielder Patrick Closey. Really feel bad for him. Atlanta took him in the 11th round out of St. Louis University last year. Spent time in both high A and double A, hitting 250, which is fine. But I feel bad for him because Glendale has some of the best outfield prospects in all of minor league baseball, right? So Jose De Paula of the Dodgers, MLB Pipeline has him as the number 12 overall prospect in the game. Braden Montgomery, the Chicago White Sox, MLB.com has him as the number 32 overall prospect in the game. And then Kendall George is a former first rounder for the Dodgers in 2023 that is on the short list of maybe one of 5 fastest baseball players on the planet. So just by prestige, pedigree, whatever, he's the 4th outfielder on the roster. Now, unlike a normal minor league team that's trying to win games and everything, he's going to get plenty of playtime, right? They're very good in the AFL about giving guys plenty of playtime. They will rotate the 4 of these guys through the 3 positions, provided they can, who can cover what. I think Closey's mostly a corner guy, but either way, they're going to rotate all these guys through. They'll use the DH spot. He'll get plenty of playtime, but he's technically the fourth in the pecking order just based on prospect prestige and talent and all that. In just a minute, let's talk about the pitchers. Also some significant names here, as well as how you can watch these Braves prospects. We'll cover that next right here on Braves Today. Welcome back to a special bonus edition of Braves Today. Apologize if you hear any background noise. I've got Bandit down here. He's close to falling asleep, but he's kind of chewing on a bone a little bit, as he's passing out. So there's a little bit of background noise. I tried to filter it best I could through the setup, but it may come through. And if you hear it, I apologize. So some of the biggest pitching names, I think number 1 is Drew Hackenberg. Okay, 2023 second rounder out of Virginia Tech. And he was the guy that they went over slot to sign as a draft-eligible sophomore, despite his sophomore numbers not being great. Okay? Top 30 prospect, and looked pretty good in 2024 for the Braves. And that was mostly high A and double A, little bit of triple A at the end of the year. But he had a 7-5 record and a combined 3.07 ERA. 25 starts, 129 innings, 144 strikeouts, only 2 homers allowed. Now, he did walk 62, so not the best walk numbers, right? But really impressive 24. He missed a bunch of time this year because of injury. And so he's really been behind the 8 ball and really has not looked good this year. So he has 21 starts as compared to 25, but only 74 innings. Because he was doing a lot of shorter starts, just dealing with some of these issues that eventually knocked him out, right? Started the year off in Double A, and that's kind of common. Hurston Waldrop finished 23 in Triple A, but started 24 in AA. Similar to that, Hackenberg finished 24 in AAA, but started 25 in AA. That's fine. But he has a 6.99 ERA in 65 and 2/3 innings in AA. Prior to getting injured, he made 8 starts, and it was pretty rough, right? 1-3 record, 7.03 ERA. Struck out 19 in 24 1/3 innings, so less than 1 an inning. Not a great number there. Walked 18. Not great. Absolutely not great. Gave up 19 earned runs. So the same number of earned runs as strikeouts. Really bad performance here. Only threw like 58% strikes. Was getting more than 50% ground balls. That was nice, but still just really struggled to miss bats and really struggled to keep runs off the board. And then he goes down with an injury, and we don't know what the injury is. There are people who I believe know, but I don't know what the injury is. The Braves have not publicly talked about that. And they typically don't with minor league injuries, right? If one of us finds out and asks a question, they may acknowledge it, but they don't volunteer minor league injuries. Unless it's like Tommy John or something. And even then, if it gets reported, they'll confirm it, but they just won't, by matter of course, discuss minor league injuries. He came back in early July, 3 rehab starts for the complex level Braves, and then went back to AA the end of July. Since he returned to AA, and their season's now done, so this is baked unless they probably have him pitching in instructs and things like that. He went 1-5 with a 6.97 ERA, allowed a 280 batting average, 37 strikeouts to 34 walks, and 41 1/3 innings, gave up 8 home runs. So just like the homer rate, he went from 0.1 home runs per 9 innings in 24 to 1 home run per 9 innings this year. It's probably a little bit of a, he overperformed in that last year. He's underperforming in that this year. The injuries just really mess with him, right? So when you look at Drew Hackenberg from an innings perspective, okay, he goes from 129 to just 74. They want to catch him back up. I talked just this morning about Hurston Waldrop and how his injury last year really messed with the development of his workload year over year. Similar situation here for Hackenberg. They want to try to get his workload. He's not going to throw 50 innings in the AFL, but he can throw 30, right? You can get him over 100 innings on the year by using him in the Arizona Fall League. And that's kind of the goal. And then to give him some sort of, see if he can get hot a little bit towards the end of the year so that he can maybe return next year. You probably start him off at AA again, as much as I want to see him in AAA, unless he has a hot spring and you put him in AAA. But he's a candidate as you start to promote guys out of Gwinnett, Blake Burkhalter or J.R. Ritchie, guys like that. Hackenberg's an option to come up and replace them in Gwinnett. Luke Sennard's in a similar situation to Hackenberg. He missed just about 2 months and kind of struggled in high A. He wasn't terrible, right? 3.90 ERA. He's also a college arm that's a little bit older for the level, right? He needs innings. He threw 86 1/3 innings his final year at Indiana, and he was a 3rd round pick last year. But this year, because of the injury, he's only thrown 72. So again, I think the goal here is to get him from 72 as close to 100 as you can, with the hope of you put him in high A to start the year next year. And if he's doing well, he's in quick promotion into AA. But the goal for Sennard should be to finish his age 23 season next year in AA. And maybe if you get him there early enough, a quick bump up into AAA to end the year. And then 27, it's a AAA and a debut kind of situation. And we've seen this before. Atlanta's not afraid to grab a guy straight from AA and throw him in the majors. So if Sennard's looking really good in AA later in the year, they could just grab him and throw him straight into the majors down the stretch in 26. We'll see. Lefty Jacob Kroger, really interesting guy. 10th round pick in 2024. He was in Division II Maryville, and he was a strikeout machine. 11.3 strikeouts per 9 innings in college. When he got to high A Rome this year, 6.7 strikeouts per 9. So the question, you're sending him to Arizona to see, can you miss more bats? He's throwing low 90s. He really only throws the fastball to set up a slider and a changeup. So get him against better hitters. Get him in an offensive environment, which the Arizona Fall League is known for being friendly to offense. It's the temperature, it's the humidity, all that stuff. Friendly to offense. Goal, question, whatever, is going to be how well, can he miss bats? You need to find this out. Corey Wall's the last guy here. In high A Rome at age 25. So he's old for the level. That's just a thing. He's old for the level. High A Rome, he dominated 36 innings, and this is almost entirely as in relief. He's not a starter. But 36 innings, 175 ERA. Struck out 40 guys, walked 10 in those 36 innings. Didn't give up a single home run, only 7 earned runs, 11 total. That's common in the low minors. He got to Double-A Columbus, kind of took it on the chin a little bit. 13 innings, 6 runs, 5 earned, 7 walks to 15 strikeouts. You saw the strikeout number dip a little bit, but the walk rate really jumped. So the question here is going to be, same situation. Get him in front of better hitters to see, can he get his control a little bit more under control there? That's the question. The final pitcher, LJ McDonough, undrafted free agent in 2023 out of Florida Gulf Coast, which if you were curious, that's the alma mater of Chris Sale. So there you go. But LJ McDonough, undrafted free agent 23, he just has really kind of struggled to miss bats. 4.31 ERA in his 2 seasons in Atlanta's system. He's going out there as a reliever. The goal is just to see, can he miss some bats and things like that. What's really cool about the Arizona Fall League, it probably has the best access for fans of any of the MLB partner leagues. It's not easy to watch MLB Draft League games. It's not easy to watch Atlantic League games, whatever. Arizona Fall League, you can watch every single one. These 6 teams all have a page on MLB.com. There's an Arizona Fall League page on MLB.com. Every single one of these games is streamed on the team's MLB.com page. Some of the more notable events in the Arizona Fall League are carried on MLB Network. So opening day is Monday, October 6th. They have 2 Saturdays where they play triple header. So all 6 teams are in action and playing back to back to back. And typically they put these in MLB parks or notable places sometimes. So the 11th and the 18th of October are triple header days. And then they have an all-star game before the championship. So the Home Run Derby and the All-Star Game. The Home Run Derby will be Saturday, November 8th. Sometimes that gets picked up by MLB Network. The All-Star Game for the Arizona Fall League, which is called the Fall Stars Game, is on Sunday, November 9th. It will be live on MLB Network. And then the playoffs are the 13th through the 15th. There's just 6 teams, right? So it's just quarterfinals and then a championship game. That's it. The quarterfinals are sometimes picked up by MLB Network, depending on the postseason schedule. The AFL championship game is always picked up live on MLB Network. So you can watch every single one of these games. So you can see, what do the Braves hitters do? What does Nacho Alvarez do? What does Patrick Cloesy do? You can watch these guys play every day. I'm probably going to end up tuning in based on the starting schedule. When is Drew Hackenberg starting? When is Luke Sennard starting? I don't imagine the rest of them will get starts. They're probably just going to be working in relief. And Sennard may end up being a bulk guy from time to time in relief as well. But I'm probably going to be tuning in for the starts. So I'll check out the position players at that time. But you can check all this stuff out right there on MLB.com on these team pages. You literally, if you go to Google, you type in Glendale Desert Dogs, it will bring up their MLB.com page. And again, all of the games are streamed through there. I usually try to, as many games as I can, I'll watch some of the starts and then I try to write up my thoughts once a week or so over on Braves Today. If we're slow on content, which we could be because the postseason's still going on, so the off season's not really started yet. I may talk about some of this stuff on Braves Today here on the podcast, but definitely all of this content is going to be over at bravestoday.com. Hope you guys enjoyed the special bonus edition of Braves Today. Do me a favor, if you're listening on audio, a 5-star review would be awesome. Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Tell your friends, too. The Believe Podcast Network is really excited about what the show's been able to do, but I do want to get them some bigger audio numbers as we're kind of making the plan on sponsorships for 2026, right? If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. That way you know when we drop other bonus episodes, we drop shorts after news happens, and things like that. Until next time, this has been Braves Today.